Thank you all for coming out here tonight. The PinellasWatchDogs is proud to present an evening with Sheriff Richard Mack, the Constitutional Sheriff and Peacekeeper Organizations of America, the head of who started this, and we're fortunate enough to have him here with us tonight. I think there'll be a lot of good Q&A afterwards. We're going to start off with Mike Cartwright, who's going to talk to us about what's happening here locally or across the water in Tampa. So Mike, if I can have you step up and tell us a little bit about what you're doing. Mike's in charge of illegal alien activities here and focusing in the Tampa area, but also in Florida.
Acts 5:29. We must obey God rather than man. I'm Mike Cartwright, and I'll be speaking to you this evening about Save America from Illegal Immigration and our website, saveamericafromillegalimmigration.com. I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge a few people that have particularly helped me with this presentation, Mr. Tony Venuto, Mr. Tim Horton, and I want to thank all the members of the Pinellas Watchdog and this audience for allowing me to share this very important message about how we can help save America. I want to make sure that we emphasize this part, and that because if we're waiting from someone from Washington, D.C., or Tallahassee, or maybe in the next election to be the Messiah, to be the Savior, then we're barking up the wrong tree. And if we're blaming the Biden maladministration and the puppet that is in charge of it right now, then we're looking in the wrong direction and we're falling for all the decoys and distractions that they're sending us.
Our big story we're following tonight is the heartbreaking loss of a Pinellas County deputy. Deputy Mike Hardwick was hit and killed at a construction site late last night by a worker who then tried to hide. Well, today his fellow brothers and sisters in blue honored his life and service with a procession following him to the funeral home. Our Fox 13's Evan Axelbank is looking into reports that the worker who killed the deputy was here illegally. But first, our Brianna Arredondo is going to tell us more about the deputy, Michael Hardwick, who had a great impact on his community. Brianna?
Well, people are definitely still continuing to stop by this memorial behind me and pay their respects with flowers as well as other things here at the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office. And tonight, people who knew him and even those who didn't say that Deputy Hardwick will be missed. He was a father, a son, a faithful servant of the Pinellas County community.
You know, there's no words. There's no words.
Much of the county woke up Friday to find out they lost Sheriff's Deputy Michael Hardwick.
It's very shocking, very devastating.
We're going to miss him. It's just a strong figure in our group, fun to be with. You know, it's going to be it's a big loss.
Hardwick worked a night patrol shift Thursday, protecting construction workers along the I-275. One of the site workers driving a front loader hit and killed him, then ran.
He knew he hit a deputy, and as opposed to stopping, rendering aid, accepting responsibility for what he did, is that we had to chase him around and sift through all this nonsense.
A 9-hour manhunt turned up 2 arrests of undocumented immigrants. Deputies charged Juan Ariel Molina Sayas with hitting and killing Hardwick. Another worker, Eliezer Arielo Gomez Zelaya, is accused of helping Molina Sayas.
He told that other construction worker that he just killed the deputy and took off his hat and took off his vest, his traffic vest, handed it to him, told him to hide it, get rid of it, and he fled.
Friday afternoon, a single line of patrol cars took Deputy Hardwick's body from the medical examiner's office to Dobie's funeral home. Among those watching the procession were former police officer Cynthia Stoner and her son.
Just to show my respect for the other brothers and sisters in blue, make sure that they know that our community out here is supporting them and we have their back no matter what.
I feel bad on the way he died. He shouldn't have died like that.
As this community grieves, the sheriff says they will be a rock for the family.
Sound familiar? That's right here. Maybe some of you didn't remember. Maybe some of you have learned to de-stress and not watch the news, the fake news, the mainstream media, and all the other things that'll depress you. May is National Law Enforcement Month. May is National Law Enforcement Month. Next week will be National Law Enforcement Week. I want to thank all those who protect and serve in law enforcement, as did I for over 21 years. Thank you. I'm very honored and humbled. I did it for 21 years at Hillsborough County, and when we have more time, maybe I'll share my personal story. So this is our website. I want to make sure that you remember that, and later on you go to visit. I want to make sure you know that I'm here to give you answers in action, not tell you something that you already know or tell you that it's hopeless and there's nothing that we can do about it. And again, not to wait for someone in Washington or Tallahassee, but to hold your local sheriff accountable. Hold your local sheriff accountable. There's over 3,000 sheriffs throughout this nation. But unfortunately, only 130 of them approximately are using a program called ICE, Immigration Custom Enforcement 287G program, to stop the revolving door policy of the catch and release of illegal aliens who've been arrested back into our community. I'd like to repeat that. Stop the revolving door policy of the catch and release of arrested criminal illegal alien immigrants back into our community. I want to make sure you're familiar with this program so that you can go to your sheriff or tell your friends and family who have a sheriff that's not following this program that they should be asking about it. They should be asking questions now, not just on election day. And if they don't have the right answers, then you need to vote for someone else that's going to help protect you. Our government right now is looking at making a first-degree misdemeanor for being an illegal immigrant. We're hearing the presidential campaign candidate that we most favor, a fellow Florida resident who was the 45th president, Trump, who's advocating that on day one, he will go and take action on what his number one campaign platform, illegal immigration. I played that video for you, and I hope that you had not forgotten about it and that you never do, because I wanted to make sure that you know each and every one of you are affected by this invasion. There's too many people that think that, well, it's bad karma, or if I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time, or I'm wearing the wrong clothing, I'm going to get what I deserve. How many times have we tried to justify in our mind that bad things don't happen to good people? Do you understand what I'm saying?
To tell my story, because I feel like it's important everyone knows the aftermath of illegal alien crimes. My husband was killed on November 2nd, 2019 by an illegal alien drinking and driving. Unfortunately, we weren't able to sentence him. Sorry. Let me see. The illegal alien had multiple traffic violations, including DUIs, and kept getting let out on U.S. soil prior to him killing my husband. He had 4 violations and never got deported. He even attended DUI school as Hi. My name's Nikki.
So you get the idea. Nikki Jones, a nurse at Tampa General Hospital, a resident of Hillsborough County, Tampa, Florida, Tampa Bay, right here where we're at. She lost her 20-year veteran, United States Air Force sergeant, highly decorated, husband, and the father of her 2 children, Harley and Raven. They lost their father to an illegal immigrant who was a habitual traffic offender, many times before and had been many times deported. Don't think that this can't happen to you, a family member, or a friend. There's an invasion, and there are millions and millions of illegal immigrants that are being brought into our country illegally. And it's against states' rights, 10th Amendment. I see it as a treasonous act. President Trump is going to do something about it, but that's November 2024. It's actually January 2025 if we can get him sworn in. But what if we don't? Why not hold your sheriff accountable? Well, this guy here, he gets it. He is signed on to the ICE 287G program. But again, there's over 3,000 of the sheriffs across the nation that are not. There are only 130 that are. Well, where are those 130 people? Are they along the border? Are they along the southwest border where we think the border crisis is? These 4 states, California, Utah, Arizona, and Texas. Those are the border states. How many border states are there? 50. Thank you very much. There's 50 border states, because now they're not just crossing the Mexican border, they're being flown in, courtesy of your taxpayers' dollars, right into international airports. And they are using U.S. federal troops to help protect them. And for those of you who are physically minded, that I keep getting reminded that maybe that's what the RNC and the ROPF will finally care about, fiscal responsibility, each and every one of you are paying for it. Illegal immigration is a crime. You come across the border, whether you register and they give you a phone and they give you a credit card and they give you a bus ride and they put you on a plane and they put you in a hotel and they give you your bag and they give you your phone and they give you a court date that's anywhere from 6 months to 2 years later, those are the ones we know about. It's the gotaways that we don't know about. If they're even screening the registered ones well, how do we know which of the gotaways are not terrorists? There's no such thing as a law-abiding illegal alien. If they come across the border or flown in, whatever, illegally, strike one. If they end up in your county jail for some local crime they committed that is against Florida state statutes, and now they're serving up to 364 days in the county jail, or if it's a felony and they are given more than 365 days and they're sent to the Department of Corrections state prison, strike two, they're a criminal again. So why would we commit the mistake, strike three, of being foolish enough to let an arrested, criminal, illegal, alien immigrant back into our community when there's a program, ICE 287G, that is set up for the deportation of said? The sheriff is to receive $50 a day, up for 48 hours, if they're registered in this program with a memorandum of agreement, MOA. If they sign this agreement, then the federal government is supposed to do their job, as is the local county or state government is supposed to do their job. I want to tell you people about this because though your sheriff is doing the right thing, there's other Florida sheriffs that are not. Well, who are those sheriffs that are and are not doing the right thing? Well, I did the data mining for the state of Florida and for the nation, and I drew up this map, and I depicted the good guys as red, go figure, and the bad guys is blue. So there is 21 sheriffs that are not enforcing this law, and they're not all Democrats. How about that? Please note, Tampa Bay, again, Pinellas County, Sheriff Gualtieri, my accolades, good job. He signed on the program. But where I reside, and again, in Hillsborough County, the sheriff there is not. And he has many times refuted joining it. And I got to mention, I'm here in a church, and I'm very grateful. I wish my parents could see me. I'm up on stage in a church, and I'm not in church and not in trouble, at least not yet. But I'm trying. I'm gonna keep trying. I'm trying to draw the flag, and I want to tell you about that. I've stepped out of my comfort zone. I wasn't a professional speaker. I didn't know how to do data mining. I didn't know how to do computer stuff, and I have a face made for radio. So I'm way out of my comfort zone. And I'm talking in front of all you good people, and I really appreciate your patience with me. I've had some professional instructors I talk to that tell me, just imagine your audience is sitting out there in their pajamas or underwear, and then that way you don't really feel uncomfortable. Well, that actually makes me feel more uncomfortable. So I digress. Please pay attention to the map. You see 21 and 20, so it fluctuates that a sheriff can go on or off of this program. If you have a sheriff and he says, I recently signed up for that program, make him show you. Ask him, I want to see your signature, I want to see the date. The program's been in existence since 2018, over 6 years ago. Why are you just applying for the program now? What is the problem? What we're learning is that as part of the disinformation, malinformation, that there may be, that most likely the Biden maladministration is hindering ICE. You see on the border that Customs, U.S. Border Patrol is in a battle with particularly the state of Texas as they are trying to hold their ground. Governor Abbott has found his hill that he's going to die on. God bless those people. Also, I need to make sure I mention God bless all of our military and our first responders and our elected officials. God bless you, because you took an oath to that U.S. Constitution and to your state constitution. And that's what we're going to hear more about from our speaker in a few minutes. And I just want to make sure that the additional information you might need and want to share with family and friends in these other states is at that website, saveamericafromillegalimmigration.com. You can see again from this map, only 130 of the sheriffs in our nation are signed on to this program to stop the revolving door catch and release of illegal arrested criminal aliens back into our community, and we need to turn that around. I need to make sure you know that Florida leads the nation with over 70% of their sheriffs, but we are the toehold. We are the place that we need to turn this back around. At this time, I'd like to help by answering some questions. If you'll call it out, I'll try and answer it as best I can.
I would like to know what our governor is doing regarding the planes coming in and bringing the illegals in. Does he have any power?
Well, obviously, the question is, what is our governor doing about the planes coming in with illegal immigrants? He's not doing enough. We think we have the best governor in the nation, and now that he's not running for president, and hopefully he'll get back to that job, but it's not enough. And that's where there's this tug of war that is going on between federal power and state and local power. If you'll remember, over 250 years ago approximately, when they asked Benjamin Franklin, what kind of country are we going to have, he said it's a republic, if you can keep it.
Yeah.
And that's what's going on. There's a balance of power. They set up our government to where the states set it up and gave some power to the federal government, but all along they didn't want to create something that our ancestors had tried to flee from over 250 years ago when they wanted to start a new nation. That's a good question, and I'm sorry, but he's not doing enough.
Not doing enough, no.
And it's your sheriffs that can be that first line where they can do something.
So if the sheriff is not doing what he needs to be doing, what do we do? Do we primary the sheriff? And how long is the sheriff, can he serve, and how often is he reelected?
So sheriffs here in the state of Florida, they hold a 4-year office, and yes, you should primary them. And this is a tool that you can use to find out if your sheriff is actually signed on to this program. And if he doesn't give you a good answer, you can do a FOIA request, Freedom of Information Act, public records, to get that to where you have something more definitive. Because if he doesn't show you, hey, I signed on to that program, and here is the date, the signature of which I did it. Because we understand that the ICE administration has been told by the president and his administration to delay and hinder those applications. So the good sheriffs that have applied, good for them. I don't know why they waited so late, but if your sheriff can't show that he signed a memorandum of agreement, hold him accountable in the election, primary him.
Okay, Nick, sure.
Mike, thanks for coming over. Appreciate your time. Can you give us an update on whether the illegals coming in to Florida are going to be able to vote?
Yes, they are, but not legally. You know, one of the first things that they try to do to get these people acclimated and naturalized and make them neighbors and newcomers. You guys are familiar with those terms, right? That's what we're calling the illegal alien immigrants. They're newcomers, and it's amazing the power of the word. And that's why I want to make sure you know and that you exercise, your First Amendment to help defeat that. But we need to stop.
Good. One last question here.
Yes, how do we know, how can we document if our sheriff is actually executing the 287Gs?
Well, the FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, and the press release, what I'm getting recently is that actually the sheriffs are not getting 100% cooperation, and in fact it may be much less than that. In fact, I was recently quoted that since Biden took office, that basically he's tried to destroy the program from within, but keep up the image that it's still running. If you go to the website, ice.gov, as is listed in my resources, you can check and see each one of the 50 counties, which counties are still enrolled in the 287G program and are not. But I've called public information officers. I've called the Florida Sheriff's Association and the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and to get those answers. And they're very difficult because they ask, well, who are you? Well, I'm a retired law enforcement officer, and I'm concerned about what's happening to my community and country.
I'm your boss.
And you get the runaround. You get transferred, you get a voicemail, you send an email, you don't get the answers and stuff. So that's why it's important that we come together and we have organizations such as the CSPOA, Constitutional Sheriff's Peace Officer Association, so maybe they can help share in the awareness of this. And that's why I'm blessed to share the stage with this gentleman and with this program. And he'll have a difference of opinion on some of the things that I said, and I hope that you ask him some of these same great questions about how we can save America from illegal immigration.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you, Mike. We really appreciate it. Thank you for your service. thank you for your continued service. And we'll have him back again because he's got a lot to share. And it's not just what's happening over there, because we've heard that when we've asked our sheriff, and he says, well, our sheriff's doing good as far as this particular document. There's other documents that he hasn't signed, and he's been late to the table with some things, and he also was one of the creators of the red flag laws, which are now being implemented to take your guns away. That's our sheriff.